You could leave my son's Tyson's name out of your mouth.
What?
Leave his name out of your mouth. You're good enough to suck his dick,
Tyson
mate.
come to spar me and I treated them like a...
Friggin' jealous because they're nobody. They're just irrelevant people now. Let me tell you in boxing, mate, people are only interested in current champions, men who's doing stuff today, who's getting in and fighting. No one wants to know about an has-been.
Hey, yo, 6 p.m., baby. Get your tickets.
John Fury didn't just trade words this time. He took things to another level. Storming into the press conference involving Froch and Darren Till, he shoved both men in front of the cameras, turning it to...
Little John, what are you gonna do? I'm on my own. Get you at your security and that you're a ming pair of houses. I'll absolutely turn you upside down. What? Yeah, be quiet, little John. Go back to your rock. Tyson got blood on your seen all heard of you. You blade bag.
Intense media event into complete chaos. This wasn't the usual back and forth that boxing fans expect. John Fury made the confrontation physical, pushing both fighters and branding them
to behave himself. He's distracted a lot of attention and talk, and I'm quite sure someone will have a word with him out. The authorities will have a word.
Losers in front of everyone watching. While press conferences have produced plenty of heated moments over the years, this incident crossed a line that immediately grabbed attention. Darren
and hate on somebody. This man really does have mental health issues, it's evident to see. And rather than just go back and forward with him and yada yada yada, saying he's deluded and all that, I'm just gonna pray for him and I'm gonna ask God to help him.
Till refused to be intimidated. Instead of backing away, he responded with confidence, calling John Fury powerless and empty. His reaction made it clear that the shove changed nothing. If anything, it only fueled his determination, sending a direct message that he wouldn't be bullied.
Shithouse!
A friggin' shithouse.
To me, when you call somebody a shithouse, it means they're a bottle job. It means they're scared to fight anybody. I fear no man born from his mother. I don't even know what that means, but he's called me a has-been. What's all this has-been business?
People are only interested in current champions, men who's doing stuff today, who's getting in and fighting. No one wants to know about an has-been. And that's all these people are, has-beens.
That comes from somebody who's a never been. Have you ever been to call me a has-been? Has-beens, it makes no sense. It's ridiculous. It comes from a jealous place.
Because they're friggin' jealous, because they're nobody.
I've never been jealous. I'm happy for boxers that get paid good money for doing the hardest, what I consider to be the hardest sport in the world.
He's been a champion of the world, but I'll tell you what, he's not a champion of the world man, is he? He's a first-class shithouse, wants to kick up the arse.
John Fury, there's no jealousy. I've never been a has-been, once a champion.
Former world champion Johnny Nelson believes John Fury simply let his emotions take over. According to Nelson, there was no strategy behind the outburst, only anger spilling over in public.
That to everyone, I'm here to do what I'm here to do. And I couldn't give a fuck if I bumped into John Fury and the family in the street now, because it's on them what they want to do. They're more asked about me than I'm asked about them, so if they want it, I'll have it with every fucking single one of them in the street, and I'll get my head completely smashed in.
He suggested that Fury now faces a different challenge, proving he can control his temper before the situation escalates even further. Perhaps the biggest surprise came from Tyson Fury. Rather than defending his father's actions, Tyson appeared to distance himself from the incident, offering prayers.
John is an emotional being, gets into the moment, forgets himself. You can see, excuse the bad language, but this is, when you see that, this is the moment when he realized he beat up. It was that, when John had done it, like, shit, what have I done? But he had to own it. I think the pressure was on. The pressure is now on John to behave himself. He's distracted, a lot of attention and talk.
Instead of excuses. That response highlighted just how damaging John Fury's behavior had become, even within his own family. Despite the confrontation, Darren Till insisted nothing had changed. He maintained that he would happily face John Fury or anyone connected to him, without hesitation. His comments reflected the...
John Fury was doing that and goading Froch. And I know John Fury doesn't like Froch. Froch mentions him, although I haven't really watched much of Froch's videos lately. But Carl Froch, I know, has mentioned John Fury in the past. He's had a go with John Fury. They actually talked about having an actual, was it an exhibition or a boxing type match? And John Fury, any man, any time, was saying words to the effect of, oh, I'll fight you, Carl Froch, but the money has to be right. And Carl Froch basically said, all right, well, if we arrange payment, it can...
Mindset of a fighter who isn't concerned about intimidation or public pressure. Johnny Nelson continued to stress that John Fury looked distracted and emotional throughout the incident, charging at both Carl Froch and Darren Till at the same time wasn't controlled aggression, it was poor judgment. Many believe someone close to Fury needs to step in before...
And I'm thinking, you don't want to get involved in this thing here. And afterwards, I saw his interview with one of the main men of the zone saying, look, there is an appetite there. So now the conversation is, will Carl do it? Carl saying, give me 6 weeks.
Moments like this permanently damage his reputation. Journalist Liam Goff also pointed out that there is genuine history between John Fury and Carl Froch. This wasn't a random argument. The dislike between the two has been building for years, making recent talk of an exhibition fight feel much more realistic after their physical confrontation. Interestingly, Carl Froch remained relatively calm, even suggesting a charity fight instead of escalating the situation. His composed approach stood in sharp contrast to John Fury's...
He is a unified champion. Froch was a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, so if it's in a boxing ring, I don't think that's very fair on Darren. But if it is, if they two were to meet in a dark alley somewhere, I don't think Carl's coming out the same.
Aggressive behavior, making the difference between the two impossible to ignore. Johnny Nelson later explained that he had sensed tensions boiling over long before the confrontation actually happened. Now that John Fury has crossed the line into physical contact, discussions about a future fight no longer feel like playful speculation. They seem...
Not only did I see him box, I had people sparring him, I had sparring partners for him. When he boxed for Mick Hennessy, we sat down and talked a lot when we were over in America and places, and but he was a big Nas fan, and he's a big fan of my dad. And I always remember one fight he had, Junior Witter boxing in America, and we're coming back. And he was sat in the airport with us for a good 1 or 2 hours talking about boxing and everything like that. So, from that point of view, I've got a lot of respect for...
Increasingly inevitable. Carl Froch has claimed that he would need only 6 weeks to prepare for John Fury, now carries far more weight after being shoved and insulted in front of the media. What once sounded like simple confidence now feels like a genuine challenge waiting to happen. In the end, John Fury wanted a reaction, and he certainly got one. But whether this explosive moment leads to an exhibition fight or simply becomes another controversial chapter in boxing history remains to be seen.
Father behaved like that at a press conference, I would put him straight and tell him it's embarrassing and it can't be happening, mate. It's a really bad look for boxing. I'm actually surprised it's been allowed to go on and happen in a place where they're at, to be honest.
What once looked like typical boxing promotion is now starting to feel like unfinished business. After the heated press conference, it's clear that emotions are running far deeper than simple trash talk. The confrontation has left many believing this rivalry is far from over. Tony Bellew made an important observation that many fans overlooked amid the chaos. Carl Froch and Darren Till may have found themselves on the same side of the confrontation, but they are completely different fighters. Froch is...
Fury went straight for him. I'm not quite sure what he was going to do if he got to him, but I guess that was the entertainment from the press conference.
Former unified world champion with years of elite boxing experience, while Till built his reputation inside the MMA cage before crossing into boxing. However, Bellew also pointed out that real-life confrontations don't follow boxing rules. Outside the ring, technical skill isn't always the deciding factor, and Darren Till's aggressive personality could make any physical altercation unpredictable. By confronting both men at once, John Fury only increased the chances of the situation spiraling out of control. Dominic Ingle offered a very different perspective.
To choke you and all that, do you know what I mean? So it's the last thing I'd want anyway, so fucking think Carl just got off rather than have the aggro of, Darren Till in front of him, screaming, shouting and spitting in his face.
I'll ask you for a prediction. Carl Froch versus Till on the streets and in the ring. 2 scenarios, who wins?
Oh, look, I don't know. It's all look on the street. I think we know who wins.
Perspective on Carl Froch. Rather than focusing on the confrontation, he described Froch as a respectful and grounded figure who genuinely appreciates the sport and its history. Stories from sparring sessions and quiet conversations over the years paint the picture of someone who earned respect through his career, not someone who deserved to be shoved in front of television cameras. That personal insight makes the press conference incident appear even more unnecessary. Instead of highlighting boxing, the focus shifted entirely toward physical aggression and controversy. Tony Bellew didn't hide his frustration. He described John Fury's actions as embarrassing.
And he's scary. He's a scary, intimidating man. I don't know if it's a Liverpudlian accent or knowing that he could take this to the ground and finish you that way. I feel like these MMA guys are scary because they know they are the toughest guys on the street, right? It's not just, back in the day, the baddest man on the planet was the boxer. It's not that anymore, is it? I don't know who they're going to find to fight him.
Carl Froch?
I mean, there was a bit of a commotion.
Do you not think?
Well, Carl's not fought for 11 years. I know he still looks great and he hits the bag, but no one's hit him with small gloves for 11.
And questioned why event staff allowed the situation to continue for as long as they did. From his point of view, organizers should have stepped in immediately before things became physical. Bellew also admitted he couldn't understand what John Fury's plan actually was once he rushed forward. Charging toward multiple fighters without any clear objective turned what should have been a promotional event into complete disorder. Labeling the incident as entertainment felt difficult when punches weren't.
Carl Froch, unbelievable fighter. Darren Till knows that. Carl Froch is an older version of himself now. Been out the ring a long time. Whether he wants to fight again is a different story. But look, I would love to see it now. Yeah, on the street, it's a no-brainer, to be honest with you.
Lennox thrown, but physical contact had already crossed the line. Liam Smith also sympathized with Carl Froch, suggesting the former champion may actually have escaped a much worse confrontation. Smith noted that many fighters understand heated exchanges, but even by boxing standards, John Fury's behavior felt excessive. His comments reflected what many inside the sport appeared to believe, that no professional athlete should have to deal with that level.
Potentially, probably not stronger than me. I'm a machine.
Yeah.
I'm like genetically gifted and all that.
And it only takes one punch. And they're not good defensive fighters anyway. They go for the okey doke. You know what that means?
Yeah.
Give him one of those.
Give him a little feint.
Yeah.
Couple of feints, good foot movement, walk him into a shot.
Yeah.
Probably dominate him with a jab.
They don't know about body shots either.
So what are you thinking? Easy work for the Cobra?
Easy work for the Cobra. Can I be your coach, please?
Jump in the corner, man. Easy money for the Lewis machine.
Yeah. I want to be his coach.
Let's have a team,
all right,
man.
Just go out there and knock him out.
A physical confrontation during a scheduled media event, regardless of any previous rivalry or personal dislike. Ade Oladipo introduced another interesting angle by focusing on Darren Till. He argued that Till brings a level of toughness that extends beyond traditional boxing because of his MMA background. His reputation for physical intensity makes him a dangerous opponent in almost any setting. At the same time, Oladipo reminded viewers that Carl Froch has been retired for more than a decade. That reality arguably made him the less active and more vulnerable figure during the confrontation. From that perspective, John Fury may have underestimated just how unpredictable the entire situation could have become. Liam Smith finished by admitting he would genuinely like to see Carl Froch compete again. After everything that unfolded at the press conference, interest in a future fight has only grown stronger. Whether that matchup ever becomes reality remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The incident has reignited conversations that many believed had already been left in the past.
Plus, since he's boxed. So 10 years ago, he would have smashed Darren Till all over the shop, right? And I think Darren actually, for all Darren's madness, he's not an idiot. I think he knows that. But 10 years on, and not having took a punch in 10 years, and definitely gone a bit softer, because that's just life, it all of a sudden becomes, dare I say, a bit of a 50-50.
Liam Smith believes the interest in this rivalry has only grown stronger. Rather than discouraging fans, John Fury's confrontation appears to have fueled even more curiosity about a potential fight. In Smith's view, it's an obvious matchup that still has plenty of appeal, despite Carl Froch's long absence from professional competition. The biggest question now is whether Froch has any interest in making it official. After being called a has-been and physically confronted in front of the media, many believe he has every reason to consider settling the rivalry inside the ring instead of leaving it as another heated exchange. Carl Froch, however, doesn't seem shaken. During a lighthearted conversation with Lennox Lewis, the
plus since he's boxed. So 10 years ago, he would have smashed Darren Till all over the shop, right? And I think Darren actually, like, for all Darren's madness, he's not an idiot. I think he knows that. But 10 years on, and not having took a punch in 10 years, and definitely gone a bit softer, because that's just life, it all of a sudden becomes, dare I say, a bit of a 50-50.
Two joked about jabs, feints, and handling bigger opponents with smart boxing rather than brute force. Their relaxed discussion suggested that Froch remains calm, focused, and far from intimidated by everything that happened. The contrast was striking. While John Fury was making headlines for shoving people and creating chaos, Froch appeared more interested in discussing technique, footwork, and strategy alongside one of boxing's greatest champions. That difference in approach only reinforced the impression that he remained composed throughout the controversy. Eddie Hearn also weighed in with a balanced assessment. He admitted that a prime Carl Froch would likely have been too much for Darren Till, but he also acknowledged that time changes every fighter. Years away from elite competition can affect timing, durability, and sharpness, making the matchup far less predictable today. According to Hearn, what might once have been a straightforward contest has now become much closer to a genuine 50-50 fight. That explains why Darren Till has shown no fear of Froch's reputation or John Fury's attempts at intimidation. Confidence grows when experience and age begin to level the playing field. George Groves offered perhaps the most skeptical viewpoint. He questioned whether Carl Froch truly wants to return to competition or whether recent comments were simply a reaction to being challenged publicly. Looking fit in training photos, Groves argued.
Versus Till. I don't know, man. He's 48 years old now, Froch. You know, he looks good when he takes a picture, you know, with a moody light in after a few abs and that. But Darren Till, he's still fighting, isn't he? He still knows what it's like to get punched in the teeth. It's been a while since Froch's been punched in the teeth. So I think he does well. I think it sells. I think if he wants to do it, he should do it. But I got a feeling Froch don't want it. I don't think Froch wants it. I think he says he wants it, but when it comes down to it,
is very different from stepping back into the ring and taking real punches after years away from the sport. That skepticism became even more relevant after the press conference. Instead of choosing his own comeback, Froch suddenly found himself defending his legacy following John Fury's public confrontation. In Groves' opinion, words are easy, but only actions will reveal whether Froch genuinely wants to fight or was simply protecting his pride. Whatever happens next, one thing is certain. John Fury's explosive appearance completely changed the conversation. What started as another boxing media event quickly turned into one of the sport's most talked about controversies. From Carl Froch rejecting the has-been label to Darren Till insisting he fears nobody, tensions have reached a level that goes far beyond ordinary promotional hype. Even Tyson Fury appeared unwilling to defend his father's actions, while respected figures such as Tony Bellew and George Groves openly questioned both the behavior and the direction this rivalry has taken. The unanswered question remains whether Carl Froch will eventually step into the ring or whether John Fury's actions simply created unnecessary chaos around a fight that may never happen. What do you think? Did John Fury take things too far? Or has he made this rivalry even more intriguing? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for the latest boxing news, interviews, and breaking updates.